a place for different type of relationship dynamics. Okay, I know there's so many different types that exist, but I'm specifically referring to monogamous relationships or polygynous relationships. Okay, I don't want to go into detail about what they mean. You can just do your own research. But just my personal experience from being in a monogamous relationship, I totally believe in the relationships that I am involved in or have been involved in. They are long-term relationships, okay? And what I've realized is that, and just from my perspective, from a higher viewpoint is what I would like to consider it, is the exclusive aspect is great, but not when you put a cap on it. I do believe, and my brother and recently my friend used this term, is that we are interdependent. And I do understand that we cannot just depend on ourselves. We will need one another. So what I've realized from being in monogamous relationships, is just that the dynamic and the meaning of it, the origin of it, and then how it is prophesized during our modern day, I truly believe that it can put a cap on someone's soul growth simply for the fact that you can only have one experience at one time versus multiple experiences that can help each individual person grow into their authentic self, you know, learning and evolving and experiencing only just by having to feel that it's necessary to stick to just one individual person. Now, I know a lot of times when it comes to monogamy and polygyny, that term, especially with polygyny, has been saturated with lies and deceit. Okay, but that actually occurs in monogamous relationships too. That's the worldly aspect, what I would like to say about it. Okay, so if we can just remove the worldly aspects of cheating, being deceitful, codependency, needing emotional fulfillment, feeling voids out of it, and you just sit and think that you have a healthy, divine, spiritual, elevated connection in your relationships, whether it is monogamous or whether it is polygynous, then you will be able to understand that we are interdependent upon one another, and your relationships can blossom when your person, whether a man or woman, ends up crossing paths with maybe another soulmate, or someone that can feed them, whether it is spiritually or in a sense, in an aspect where they can grow and they can learn. So, you know, it's kind of funny because me being in a monogamous relationship, I just realized that every time I tried to do things the traditional way and to execute the beliefs that were passed down onto me, that when you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship, you are committed solely to that person. And then along the lines I learned, but it is possible for someone to love more than one person and to have an experience on a soul level with more than one person as well. Okay, and I also started to see, and this is just my experience, that I do sort of believe that women, that we are monogamous and men are polygynous. I use the word polygynous because just from my experience and learning that there's different forms of poly, I'm speaking specifically for polygyny. So where the man will have multiple experiences with women, and then the women will have that monogamous relationship with that man. You know, a lot of times, and again, this is my perspective, you may have your own opinion, women do not want multiple partners. Okay, and if so, there's nothing wrong with that, because I know there is a poly relationship. I forgot the name of it, where it can be a woman and multiple husbands, and I have met a young lady and she's like that, and it was necessary for her path and her journey. And I sit back and I think, let's just say you're in a monogamous relationship, which technically you still are monogamous even if you're in a polygynous relationship. Let's just say that you're in a monogamous relationship and then you or your person, either or, you have crossed paths with a divine being who is able to ignite something that may not have been, like you was finding it and you could feel it, but you wasn't quite sure what or where it was or what it is, but you could just feel it. And then the divine, you know, the Most High, put you on a path and you met someone that could teach you, that can help you grow, or at least direct you down the path that will give you the jewels that your soul has been yearning for. But because we have this restrictful mindset as far as the relationship dynamics and not being open to other experiences, that we end up missing out on that. Okay, and that's just an example, and actually things that I have myself experienced. So the whole purpose of this video is because I felt the need to put it out there, is that I do truly believe that our relationship dynamics are important, whether it is going to be monogamous or whether it's going to be polygynous. Sit back and define, what is the purpose for your relationship? Okay, is it to fulfill your ego? Is it trauma bonding? Is it codependent? Is it because of fear of your finances, so you want to get with someone for financial stability? Or is it for soul growth, experience of life, to where you and your partner can go down your own separate path, your divine destined paths, but connect together? But you also have to understand that tree can have many branches, and that you could experience someone else, or they could have an experience with someone else, but it will not separate anything in your reality, because I do believe that multiple realities can exist at one time. Okay, and we're not talking about things of the flesh where it's coming to sex or coming to unhealthy addictions while we're doing this. I'm trying to speak it from a more higher elevated perspective, that we're interdependent on one another, and how we can have an open concept and welcoming that if you're with someone for a certain amount of time, and then the divine sends you, or you end up crossing paths with someone that is meant to take you or your business, your family, or anything within your soul to the next level, why do we put a cap on that? Why is it filled with fears? Why is it the emotions or feelings of jealousy, resentment, unless it's built on deceit and lies and the things just, again, dealing with the flesh? It's just something to think about. But anyways, I do believe both relationships has its importance in our world. Okay, whether it is monogamy or polygyny. I'm not sure what direction I'm going in, because I do believe that I can function in any type of relationship dynamic that the Most High puts me in, as long as it is more spiritual and people are open to growing and elevating. No lies, no deceit, and a healthy foundation. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Anyways, until next time, if I have a word, bye.